What's up YouTube, Dell here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you an update post-Alliance Insight to Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now this is going to be a pure build, and the reason I call it pure build is it doesn't involve Prime Lights, Invoked, or any of those supporting engines. The only other brand new cards it includes, alongside the brand new Ancient Fairy Life Dragon, is I am currently trialing out the new Dragolith. So the idea behind this card is it lets you send Blue Eyes from the deck to the graveyard, and then special summons itself. And then it also has an effect in the graveyard to target a normal monster in the graveyard, and then special summon it in defense by banishing this card, which just basically allows you to get more recurability to your Blue Eyes and can open up some rank 8 plays for you, which can set you up with some Nibiru protection and everything else in between. So, with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe. I'm going to take you through the profile, explain the ratios, and talk you through what we've got, then talk you through a demo side deck as well, so you know exactly what you're going to need to do to put this deck together and take it to your environment. We're going to dive headfirst into the profile, starting off, of course, with the Blue Eyes themselves. So we are on 2 of the original Blue Eyes White Dragon. In this version, technically, you could play 3, but then I felt you were really just adding another layer that you didn't need to. And the reason that the Dragolith Dragon doesn't really mind being at 3 is that it can become discard fodder if you want to use its graveyard effect. It can obviously stay there to be an extended to the field. It allows you to bypass relying on the effect of the Mausoleum to send a Blue Eyes from deck to the grave. This card can do it for you, so that when you do go into the Blue Eyes Link 1, it means you don't need to worry about Ghost Ogre on a Mausoleum. You can just go, cool, use Blue Eyes Spirit Link 1 to tribute itself out, bring out the Blue Eyes, and go on from there. For the other Blue Eyes monsters, we are playing the 1 Jet Dragon, and we are playing the 1 Blue Eyes Chaos Max. So the idea behind this is you can technically summon out the Blue Eyes Chaos Max with the graveyard effect of the Majesty, but we're using this as our Chaos monster in order to get to our Magician Magia. Again, if you don't have access to Magia, don't worry about it. You just take out the Blue Eyes Chaos Max and you play it a little bit differently. You can also add Priestess to the deck as well to give you more consistency to get to Blue Eyes Chaos Max, and that's something that I'm considering whether I still want to use it or not, because the other card that I am using now and maxing out on it is, of course, the Neo Kaiser Seahorse. Now, the reason that I'm going to be maxing out on this is, yes, of course, even without the Dragolith, it is still a very good starter for Blue Eyes, but it needs to be your main starter. Because it's not a level 1 tuner, it can't be one of the extended normal summons that you get after Mausoleum. It has to be the first one you play. In doing so, when it leaves the field, it sends a card from the deck to the graveyard, or a Blue Eyes card or a card that mentions it. So you get to send your Blue Eyes Chaos Max, which can be very, very useful, but then it can also send your Maiden if you already have access to the Chaos Max. It is, of course, a level 4 tuner, so it can open up the door to some Synchro level 12 plays if you wanted to go down that route. But more times than not, you're going to use this as your normal summon and then a Foolish. But because we do also use the Dragolith, you do have easier access to summon out a Blue Eyes and get this onto the field without needing to conduct your normal summon, and then use this as your link play to work your way into the Link 1 Spirit Dragon. So you've got loads of different options. Again, like I've mentioned, it can open up some Synchro level 12s. I've stayed away from them. Obviously, the one you're going to be wanting to go to more times than not will be the Crimson Dragon, which will then work its way into your other level 12 targets. I've opted to go for more of a rank 8 option because that's where I'm going to be utilizing the Dragolith rather than using it as Synchro material. Then for your other starters, of course, we do have Sage with Eyes of Blue, followed up by Maiden of White. And then for the spell cards, triple Wishes for Eyes of Blue. As I've mentioned, I am highly considering putting Priestess back into the deck. That does rely on quite a lot of things to go your way, but it is a nice, easier route that if you don't open up the access to either hard open up the Blue Eyes Chaos Max or your Kaiser Seahorse, you then don't have a way to your Magia. So that is something you do need to consider, and that's why I'm highly considering putting Priestess back in. 1 Raw, 1 Mausoleum, 1 Ultimate Fusion, followed up by True Light and the Majesty. All pretty straightforward and simple. Then we are playing 3 of the brand new Dragolith. So this is a super rare out in Alliance Insight, and it reads as follows. If it is in your hand, you get to send a level 7 or higher normal monster from the hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. You can banish this card from the graveyard to then target a normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position, but you can only use 1 effect per turn, and only once that turn. So yes, it can get a little bit cloggy as you are playing 3 of them, but you want to see it, and then if you do see multiples, you just make sure that this is the card you discard off of the back of the Wishes, and if you do choose to discard it rather than using the effect in the hand because you've already seen the Blue Eyes or something along those lines, you can then, of course, revive the Blue Eyes as well. And it gives you another way to bring back the Maiden without dragon locking yourself early doors, which then also sets up the ability that when you do get access to your Mausoleum, you can use Mausoleum a little bit more consistently, targeting the Maiden, and then triggering off Maiden's effect to bring back a Blue Eyes again, opening up the doors for those rank 8 plays. For the hand traps, we've got triple Ash Blossom, double Veiler, double Ghost Ogre and Ghost Bell instead of Ghost Ogre. I just feel that this could be a cold hand trap right now for this format that a lot of people will be caught off guard of in comparison to something like a Ghost Ogre. Double Nibiru, but of course you can very easily take out the Nibirus and then triple up your Bells and your Veilers, or vice versa, take out the Bells and triple up your Nibirus and Veilers. Then we do play triple Dominus Purge, love this card, followed up by triple Infinite Impermanence, and a final consistency card of Pot of Prosperity. As I've mentioned before, very easily adapt this deck. Your extra deck is quite flexible. You have loads of different targets that you won't always be using, but it gives you that option of, okay, I can make a rank 8, I want to protect from Nibiru, I want to respect it, or I've got towards the end of my turn, I'm actually going to go into a Hope Harbinger to deal with a spell effect rather than worrying about a monster effect because I've already set up a Magia or something else along those lines. Moving into the extra deck, so for the XYZs, we are playing the one number 90 and the one number 38. So for your Spell Negator and your Monster Negator, quite straightforward and simple on that one. For our Link monsters, we are going, of course, with 2 Spirits, 1 Hieratic Seals and 1 Liner. The idea behind the Liner is that you're going to be able to revive a Blue Eyes from your opponent and then revive your own Maiden. It is one of them ones that you could also utilize an SP Little Knight should you need to, but I've kind of felt that this was one of the flexible cards in the deck that if you're not against the Blue Eyes matchup, you can take this out or banish it with Pot of Prosperity. In a Blue Eyes matchup, it just is that valuable to steal your opponent's Blue Eyes. It can really, really help you out, or even steal your opponent's Maiden and then get rid of it for your own True Light. For the fusion monsters, we are playing the 1 Tyrant, the 1 Ultimate, and of course the 1 Dragon Master Magia. Now, this is probably one of the ways that is going to be the more consistent ways to get to Magia, because keep in mind when you're activating wishes, you kind of want it to lead into your Ultimate Fusion, and if you can't allow it to lead into your Ultimate Fusion, you'll allow your True Light to set the Ultimate Fusion, and that's when you're going to be able to make the Magia during your opponent's turn. As I've mentioned previously, the only way you can get to your Chaos Monster in here in your Blue Eyes Chaos Max is through the Neo Kaiser, which is why I feel Priestess might be a little bit more consistent. It is a card you can search out earlier in your turn or later in the turn. But with the Priestess, it needs you to have your Sage Revisor Blue already in rotation because you don't really want to be going normal summon Priestess without already having a Maiden or something that can lead you into the Blue Eyes Link one already. And it kind of was one of them that I didn't want to be relying on the field spell being able to target the Priestess or of course Sage target the Priestess to chain its effect. But that is something that I'm highly considering putting back in or even bumping the deck to 41 and it can all be included. For the Synchros, we've got 2 Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, followed up by all of its targets. So these 3 targets you should already know by now, being the Ultimate Spirit Dragon for the Omni Negate, Azure Eyes for the Protection, your Lightstorm for the back row, and then the brand new card is the Ancient Fairy Life Dragon. Now the reason Blue Eyes players are trying to get hold of this is it is a light dragon that can be summoned off of the back of your Spirit Dragon, but it also gives you the benefit. If it is Synchro Summoned, you draw a card, which technically if you were to play the original Ancient Fairy Dragon, you could do. But because your Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon special summons it, the benefit you're going to be able to get is that during the battle phase, you attack with your Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, then tag out the Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon into the Ancient Fairy Life Dragon. And this allows Ancient Fairy Dragon monsters and monsters that mention it to attack while in face-up defense position, and you apply their defense as damage calculations. You've got 3,300 on this one, so it just gives you a little bit more of an extra punch, especially if you've got like a Tyrant Dragon that is clearing off all your opponent's monsters, and then you go attack with your Spirit Dragon, tag the Spirit Dragon out into the Ancient Fairy Life Dragon, and then attack for 33. It just increases your consistency of an OTK output with the deck as well. So that's it for the entire main deck and the extra deck. Now to show you the demo side deck, so you have a bit of an idea of what you want to be putting together for the environment you're taking it to. So directly, your Malice Hate being Artifact Lancia, and then just generic hate in the form of Drown Lockbird, but if your environment does not falter to this card, then of course sub it out and put in anything that is more reliant to you. Harpy's Feather Duster and 2 Lightning Storms, and the ways that you can get to these is obviously off the back of triple Tactics Thrust, and then 3 additional Thrust targets being a triple Tactic Talent for going second, and then if you do get hand trapped, maybe like a D-Shifter, or maybe you get hand trapped in a way that you're not going to be able to kind of come back from, you want to make sure that you can stun your opponent in retaliation with Thrust, and that's when you're going to be able to go for a different dimension of ground against everything that doesn't want their stuff, wants their stuff in the graveyard, and then your Artifact Sanctum against Malice. So usually Malice and then everything else, basically. So that's it for the entire main deck, extra deck, and side deck. Straightforward, to the point, to try to show you what you need to be doing. Like I've mentioned before, this is the brand new card that will facilitate some OTK plays. And then the other card that I'm teching out is, of course, the Draglyph, just as another option to open up some rank 8 plays, while also other ways of basically doing the exact same thing that your Mausoleum wants to do, which is sending a Blue Eyes from deck to grave, setting up your Maiden, or setting up any of your other additional plays. So that's it for the entire profile. If you do have any questions at all, by all means, put them in the comments down below and I will answer them as I always try to do. For now, as absolutely always, stay safe and of course, happy dueling.